nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybok, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban Nerdcon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Don't worry, Ma. We'll be there soon.
We? Is this the one?
Well, let's say I found the one who takes me to another level. Always stays calm under pressure. Most importantly, the one that helps me discover the coolest places.
This sounds wonderful.
Come outside, I'll introduce you.
They're here.
Definitely the one.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Frontier.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The top HBCU programs in the nation come to Montgomery, Alabama's Riverwalk Stadium this May 11th through 14th for the Black College World Series. The best Black college baseball teams in the NCAA Division II and the NAIA will battle for Black baseball's ultimate prize. Games will be streamed live at www.mybcsn.net. Tickets are available now online at www.blackcollegechampionships.com.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit. Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio. That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
Some carriers will give you just 1 measly entertainment subscription. 1 is no fun. With Verizon, there's up to 7 entertainment subscriptions with your unlimited plan. That's 7 times the... 7 times the... No! 7 times the... Music, gaming, Disney+, Hulu, ESPN+, and more. That's 7 times the entertainment! Because everyone deserves better. And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
All right, hello and welcome to a live edition of the O&G Strike Zone, live from our own home studios. All three of us this time. I'm Brian Fulford, that's Kelvin Rozier, and he is Kofi Hemingway. We are the O&G triumvirate of Rattlers, live on the Black College Sports Network. The O&G Strike Zone dedicated to Florida A&M University athletics and culture. We love Mother FAMU, and we are here to just kind of talk about everything, the good, bad, sad, and other stuff that goes on as it relates to FAMU and FAMU athletics. Before we get going, I'd like to toss it over to my guys, see how they're doing over the past week. Kelvin, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing really well. Got a lot to talk about, a lot going on in Rattler Nation, and I'm ready to get into it, man. Good to break bread with the brothers and everything, and Rattler Nation as usual.
Yes, indeed. Kofi, what's good? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
No complaints. Surviving. Got my voice back. Doing well.
Good, man. You looking good, man. Feeling good. It's all good. Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Let's go. Want to remind you all to make sure you've downloaded the Jericho Broadcast Network's app, MyJBM, MyBCSN. Make sure you're following our show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone, as you see right up there in the top left and top right. And if ever you have a comment or want to send us a note, just reach out to us via email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. Maybe a little bit later, we'll tell you our personal Twitter feeds if you want to hit us up on Twitter or something like that. You can always drop a donation to the show right there at the top. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're on YouTube, right there at the top, pinned to the top, there's a link there. You can drop us whatever's on your heart, and certainly appreciate it. Every donation helps keep this show going. Thank you to those of you who have contributed already to the fund. And if you're watching us on Facebook, I know we've got that link posted on our Twitter feed. So shout out to the folks on Twitter as well as the folks on YouTube who are watching the show. Wherever you are, make sure to hit that like button. Hit that like button. That lets the algorithm do its thing. It also keeps us going. Go ahead and share the show. Got a nice show for you today, as we're going to get into talking about a whole host of things. Like Kelvin said, man, there's a lot going on. A lot of, even though the on the field stuff is sort of coming to a conclusion, as softball team, their season ended. Baseball team is coming up towards the end. Track and field is, we got a couple of runners that are competing in nationals, but in terms of the overall team, that's done. Golf is done. So, we're winding down with the 2021-22 season, but there's plenty of stuff going on in preparation for the new year, obviously. And coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll have our head softball coach, Coach Constance Orr, will come on, and we'll get a chance to talk with her and sort of get the end of the season recap. She was nice enough to join us prior to the start of the season. And, don't let, sometimes people get caught up in records. And obviously the record of the season may not have been what we wanted, but they still had a very good season. Softball had a very good season, played a very tough non-conference schedule. And so we'll get a chance to talk to her about that. What did I just see scrolling across the top? Was that our, oh my gosh, Mel done put our stuff out there. All right, anyway. I just happened to look at the screen and I said, what the heck is that scrolling across the screen? And then also we've heard from our interim AD, a man of the people himself, Michael Smith, who had I don't even know what we can call. We'll call his media, his debut in front of Rattler Nation earlier today. as Kofi has to step away for a second. Um, he spoke to the 220 quarterback club today, and shout out to Vaughn Wilson and Mega Ace Media for putting that together and putting it out there on YouTube. And I think it was great. And I think it was great from the standpoint they got a chance to interact. So where do you want to go, Kelvin? Obviously, I put both of those in segment one. We can talk about the roundup with baseball, obviously, or we can get into kind of talking a little bit about Mr. Smith's I don't know what you call that, Q&A with the 220 Club.
Yeah, let's talk about the luncheon at the 220 Club and some of the things that were discussed there.
Yeah. So I will admit some of the names I watched it, and then I had a class, so I only got through halfway, and then I went back and watched it the rest of it again, and so some of the names might escape me. Kelvin, you are probably more familiar with some of the names and people that were there with him. I will say first impressions on what I liked. I see why Michael Smith has been tabbed for now the third time as the interim AD. He carries himself very well to the FAMU, to FAMU, for FAMU. I like to call him sort of a man of the people because he took questions that really, as I'm listening, I'm sitting there like, holy cow, is this what it just goes to show, Kelvin, that what's important to me, what's important to you, what's important to Kofi ain't always important to every rattler. And there are so many things that people are worried about. I mean, from Greece getting on cars at the tailgates to the seat backs to the spacing in between the bleachers. And man, I tell you, it was like he took those bullets, man, and I came away with so much respect because of the way he answered every question, and it was just like, well, if I don't have that answer, I will find it out. And you could tell he knew people by names because it was Miss Johnson, I'm just calling out names, but when I say man of the people, I say that with all respect and love. But Michael Smith is a man of the people, Kelvin. What was your takeaway from what you saw today?
No surprises, and like you, I like in a sense from because of where we are right now as a program and what we are following. Michael is seasoned. He understands FAMU. And what it takes in terms of operations and so forth going into the fall. And Regina Battle, who was who's the ticket manager, who had been a ticket manager for many years. She's another person that's very experienced, and, and you can trust what they say. They're gonna respond to things. They kind of know the history. They have that institutional knowledge, and they're responsive. They don't, as you saw, they don't duck and hide from questions, no matter how big or how small or who it from, for that matter. To be honest, um, whether it's a big time donor or just Joe Blow from around the corner, man, they speak to everybody. They don't dodge, and they're not going to shoot you a lot of game, right? You can like what they say, you can dislike what they say, but they're gonna tell you the truth. So I'm comfortable in that sense. With them back in the fold, and I have to say they are really good people also. So I want to give them their flowers on that part of it. But in terms of the room and the questions and so forth, it was no surprise, given the audience that was there. So you're not going to get any big vision things, P3s and the presidential. I mean, I'm sorry, the search process and we like to get into the juicy stuff, right? But in that forum with the audience that was there, as you can tell, they worry about game day. Is my parking gonna be there? If somebody sit in my seat, who I go get?
Yep.
I done paid my money. When can I get my tickets? You know, that's that audience, and having been there and dealt with them both professionally and personally, you have to be responsive to those folks. They're good folks. They're very engaged, and if you don't answer them and respond to them, you hear that too. So it's better to go ahead and deal with it.
Yeah. Kofi, what was your takeaway from what you saw of Michael Smith at the 220 Club? Boy, there was a few. I wish I had thought about saving.
Miss Walker, Miss Walker. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Colonel.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Colonel. Yes, sir. Miss Walker. Yes, ma'am. Again. Right. Yes, ma'am. Listen. So this is a layer of FAMU that you have to address if you're going to serve at FAMU. You have to address, you have to respect the old school generation. Somebody asked, when does the 220 Club meet? They meet every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. It's like a bridge club. They're going to come together. They're going to fraternize, and they love FAMU. They're going to put their money where their mouth is.
Yes.
Even if it's $25 a week, they're going to do it. Because they love Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. These are Jake Gaither Rattlers. So they're not used to losing. They like to win. They know what they're looking at. They know quality. They came up at a time when we had to fight for literally. Can you hear me?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again. Which era are they again? Say that again for folks.
Gaither era.
Yes.
Rattlers. You know, when we didn't lose a whole lot. You know, so they've seen a whole lot. They've experienced a whole lot. They know what it's like to win. There wasn't a whole lot of knowledge back then about how we got it done, but this group really does love what happens at FAMU. They serve, many of them have served at the highest of levels at FAMU. They have tons of connections. They know each other. They know the good, the bad, and the ugly about each other. You know, you had Tommy Mitchell up in there. Tommy Mitchell gave this little quote about the boosters and everything and how they shouldn't be shortchanged. And I'm sitting up there like, okay, well, what? You know, like it couldn't have been me. I'm just telling you now, that could not have been me. You know, and Michael Smith, just for the record, he's always been articulate. He's always been well-spoken. He's not a dummy. All right. He's not a dummy. And he's kind of short like Courtney is too. So I think they tried to give us the okey doke on that. But really, when it comes to what we need right now, you know, you have to be able to communicate with the Miss Walkers. Miss Walker, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Miss Walker. Yes. You have to be willing to respect the Miss Walkers, because those are the people without a cell phone, without social media, can make your life a living you know what. You know, if you don't handle them and with respect and honor. So you need those people because they can engage, and they've got also resources that are beneficial to you. One of the failures of the Courtney Gaucher administration, I don't want to say failures, but one of the things that they had a problem with was their game day operations, especially the darn concession stands. You know, you got 20,000 people and one concession stand per side. Now, you had 2 years to plan for it now. 2 years. All right, I'm not going off tonight. I'm being peaceful because we on a fast. We had 2 years to plan for it. Okay. But nevertheless, they could only find one concession stand. I'm just sitting up here like, how in the world does that happen? Do you know who you dealing with? Now,
And don't we have food
obviously,
services or something? Isn't there a whole host of vendors right up the hill in that student activities?
well,
Anyway,
you
go
know,
ahead. I'm sorry.
unfortunately, when Courtney came in and got rid of a whole bunch of people, those people had ties to the people that had the vendors and all that other stuff. So it really, I don't think he understood again the dynamics of what needs to happen, especially on these are your game day people that you're going to be relying on to make sure that things get done and you follow through. You cannot do these things without right relationships. You need these relationships in order to follow through and carry out your agenda. Now, the good thing, I'm going to say this and I'm turning it over. What were you about to say, Brian?
Well, I was going to say the one thing we got to remember, Gaucher's administration only really had the one this past fall as their game day operations planning. Because when he came in, obviously, the pandemic occurred, which took away a whole year.
That would have been even worse. They were clearly, again, you cannot do these things. Like people think that you just come up there on game day and it's just no, it's conversations, it's relationships, it's security, it's vendors, it's concessions, it's all of this stuff, you know, and you have to take in account even your game day programs, your you know, preferably your runners. These are things that have to be engaged, and you have to have conversations about from a strategic standpoint, so you can put on the best possible operation. It cannot be a one-man operation because you're talking about dealing with 20,000 plus people. In homecoming, it was 33,000 plus. So you have to have the mindset to say, okay, how can we serve these people properly? Now, let me say the good thing, because I've been asking for this for a long time. I'm happy that whoever put together the little town hall meeting, that we had the darn town hall meeting. I've been asking for months for the town hall meeting. And I think that if we had the town hall meeting around about January, February, a lot of the stuff that we were going through, we would not have had to go through. If we had even had it on a consistent basis, back as far as September and even October, a lot of this stuff would not have happened the way that it happened. And we might still have Courtney as our AD if we had been able to iron through a lot of this stuff. We might have been able to continue. Well, I ain't going to go all the way there. But a whole lot of people would still be in position had we had the right conversations at the right time.
Kelvin, how do we, obviously you have dealt in the and seen and witnessed the game day operations of things. Dude, I don't know where I was going with my question, to be perfectly honest, just lost my thought. But I think the two things that struck me in that conversation or in that meeting that happened. One was an actual number was given to the amount of seats we would lose. Now, prior to the construction, Bragg Stadium, I believe, was in the ballpark of 25,000.
25,500.
Okay, 25,500, yes. And then, of course, we've known that on homecomings, they've always upped it and been a way to find to get anywhere close to 30 or 29, whatever. Two things that came out. One, now it was talked about as far back as the spring game that the new construction was going to affect a number of seats. No one really knew what that number. Remember, Kelvin, you and I talked about that when we stood out there on that very cold morning and did a pre-show before the Orange and Green game. And we saw that press release get dropped on a Friday at 6 o'clock. And finally, a number came out, and we found out it was, now this wasn't an exact number, but it was somewhere in the ballpark of 3,000. 3,000 seats, yes, would be there would be a deduction of about 3,000 seats. Now, again, that's not an official number. That was just a roundabout rough number that was given in that section, which means a lot of folks who sit in those sections are going to be displaced and moved to other places. That was the inevitable part that was talked about. Yes, yeah. And another thing that came out about that though was something that was said that people glossed over it. While people were definitely shocked or maybe upset about 3,000 seats missing, it was said, and I forgot the lady's name who said it, but she said, other than homecoming and maybe the Southern game, regular season game, over the past several years, FAMU has not really would not miss those 3,000 seats, meaning that we haven't really sold out 25, our full capacity. We've gotten in the low 20s before. Go ahead, Kelvin. Hands raised. Go ahead. I may have,
Okay.
did I hear that correctly?
So on that west side, which we refer affectionately as the alumni side, sections D, E, and F, which basically run from like the 40 to the 40. Those seats are generally sold out. The seats around them are not. Some of the, that's where a lot of our season fans are. Some of them not able to come to every game because of conditions and so forth. But those seats, just because they're not physically there, meaning they're not sold in those three sections. That has long been the base of our season tickets, number one. And then I kind of want to talk about why we missing 3,000 seats on that side and, instead of a smaller number, because this was a decision that ultimately was made, and they didn't want to, throw anybody on the bus, but I'm gonna just be transparent. So our former AD, along with our current president, made a decision with that whole platform thing, as well as having a seating area for their guests at the games. So that seating area, the platform took up several rows, and then having the ability to go from the president suite or the 80 suites to the actual stands and have a sitting area beneath that platform to entertain, to fundraise, they say. And I'm finna really dig in on that one. But
That's what they said.
but
That's what they said.
that
It
that
came out in the actual, yes,
that's
that's what they said.
that's why the number is larger than what it should be. It was not initially intended to be that way, but a decision was made that they would have an area that's pretty massive to entertain. Now, what do I call that area? I call that area the freebie VIP area, because all that is to me is more room and extra for people who got plenty of money, who should be buying these season tickets and everything. To, hey, I want access, or even if they pay, they're gonna have friends and entourage that they want to get in free and so forth. And hey, I'm just looking at the history of our program, and I don't recall any particular game where we've had entertained somebody and got a significant six-figure check or anything like that for athletics, you know. So I'm saying if they gonna took
We
all
don't
them
have a
seats
suite.
up, yeah, if they don't took all that space up and so forth, whatever entertaining they doing, that entertaining need for FAMU athletics, not for the university itself. And I'm just put that out there. I'm not a big fan of that expanded area unless they selling it so that fans can be a part of that process. But you can't tell me that you having this space so you can entertain and fundraise, because I hadn't seen it. I don't believe it.
Well, as it was said in the in that 220 club, the reason you haven't seen it is because who I wish I had the quote that she said. Um, if you want the sponsors, then you got to have a presentation that makes it look like the sponsors have something to give, or they're giving to something of value or something. I'm paraphrasing. Go ahead, Kofi. Go ahead. Go ahead. That
Me,
beautiful
me, me,
smile of
me, me,
yours.
me, me.
Go ahead.
All right. One time for the FAMC students, the FAMC alumni, because they the ones that's gonna get displaced. All the FAMCians that's out there, FAMC, I love thee, all that other stuff. I'm gonna call that section the BS section because I've not known Dr. Larry Robinson to raise a ton of money anyway. So now he's going to start. He can barely even do the Rattler Strike Chat without pausing and stuff nonstop. It just makes people cringe. In my opinion, we need to put old Fred up there on the scoreboard and just ride out with that rather than have him to stumble through that all this time anyway. He does not like to get in front of people. He barely likes to fraternize with people, but he's going to be the one to get out there and raise that money. Come on. And, you know, Courtney's not even here anymore, Mr. Gaucher. So, you know, where's that? Then here we go. We've not had a full real SWAC season of football as a home schedule. You know, now we're getting Southern back in town. We're going to have Alabama A&M. That's going to be a big game. Albany State's going to be bringing a plethora of people down for that game. That does not include homecoming. That's going to be a big game. You know, I don't know what these people were thinking. Then we got Jackson State coming in next year. And this is Deion's first trip back to Tallahassee as the coach of Jackson State, if he's still there. But I'm just saying, that's going to be a crazy game. You know, we're hosting them. That'll be bigger than the Southern game. Plus homecoming and whoever else we bring in. So thinking these things through, you know, these are things and scenarios, and this doesn't even include if we host the SWAC championship game. You know, we host the SWAC championship game. You know, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna raise up some end zone seeds? What is the plan in terms of what do we call those seats? Those movable seats?
Why would we have to do all that?
Setting up additional seating, huh?
We don't have to do that. The year that Alcorn State hosted Southern in the very first SWAC championship game at you know, what was that?
They had end zone seating.
Yeah, but there was still well, you talking about the lawn? The lawn?
No, they set up seating in the end zone. They set up additional seating in the end zone.
I had read that there was only really about 22,000. Now I don't have, I'll go back. Who knows? I'll go back and look at the box score, but I don't think there was more than 25 in that game, and it was still a packed house, Alcorn and Southern. You know, so
it's always packed because they're right up the street from each other. But my point is, as we prepare, you have to have a vision and a mind for the future. You have to have a mindset for it. Like, what are we going to do? This this has to be talked about, you know, again, because this affects, you know, the number of tickets that you're probably going to sell. Now, obviously, homecoming, we're going to still have the number of people that we normally have some kind of way, because we still have that whole standing room only section back there where people are going to pack in and people are going to stand up, XYZ, but it's puzzling to me as we prepare to go through just, you know, just the thought process with somebody who didn't even list athletics in their whole vision statement. That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, let me.
All right.
Hey, Brian, let me just add.
One minute before we gotta.
Yeah, they did say that platform area that they have that they're going to use this year for, you know, as an extension to entertain, that it is designed for them to be able to add suites for, you know, maybe the next season or the season after, but that part is unfunded at this point, so we don't know if that would happen and how soon that would happen. But to me, that has to happen, and that revenue for those suites that they add to that platform area from this year has to make up for those 2,000-3,000 seats where we losing guaranteed revenue. And it needs to double and triple that, to be honest. So that's what we need to be thinking about, and I hope that, you know, our alumni association leadership and our university leadership and our athletic leadership think about. It's about revenue for athletics, people, for athletics. That is all.
You said it as if the money might go elsewhere.
I'm always concerned about that.
Yeah, we wonder why. All right, let's take a break. 2-minute break. Coming up on the other side, we've got our head softball coach, Coach Constance Orr. She'll give us a recap of the season and what the look ahead for the future is for our Lady Rattlers. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
At Tyson, we know taste is local. Some like their beef pit smoked, their chicken spiced all the way up, or their pork sweet and saucy. Local flavors, global impact. That's what feeding the world is all about.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
We are making the virtual HBCU experience available wherever you live through Stillman Online. We offer online degrees in business, criminal justice, psychology, and religion. Stillman also offers technology badges in cybersecurity and data analytics. You can participate in all student activities, fraternities and sororities, internships, graduation ceremonies, and much more. Apply for admission today at stillman.edu. Stillman College, where we prepare you for a different world.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban Nerdcon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybok, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban Nerdcon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Hey, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi here. And joining us live is the head coach of our softball team, Lady Rattlers. Finished up another season, another amazing season. First season in the SWAC, Coach Constance Orr. Coach, how you doing? Thank you for coming back and joining us here on the ONG.
I'm well, thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Coach, as we had a chance to have you on at the beginning of the year, and now here we are at the end. What are your first thoughts as you think about this season in its totality?
My first thoughts are we finished well. I know we didn't get the outcome we wanted or that we expected, but for us to have a mostly new team and the girls just to learn our system and our culture at FAMU, I think we played very well. We had a lot of good things show this season, and I'm excited for next season.
It almost feels like there was, and obviously this sounds a little, I mean, it is what it is. There are two seasons. There's your non-conference and regular season. And the non-conference was, it was brutal. I mean, there were a lot of tough opponents, but there were some very good games. When I say brutal, not like brutal in terms of the outcome, but just in terms of the opponents. And we hung in there for over half of those opponents, very winnable ball games. And so I look at how we performed in the SWAC, and I felt like that was a setup. Did the non-conference do what you had hoped it would do for you going into the SWAC season?
It 100% did. It made us compete from the first inning to the seventh, or however many innings it took us to win. I know we had a couple extra inning games, but it just gave us the confidence that we're going to dominate and do what we need to do outside of our conference, and we're going to transfer that to our conference. I think we ended our preseason very strong. I know we had that walk-off win against Jacksonville like a week before conference started, and we peaked at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Calvin.
I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked you before the season started in terms of the SWAC conference. Your first time around, you mentioned, and we all expected there was more parity in the SWAC versus the MEAC, which was a little bit more top heavy. But having actually gone through that, um, tell me your impressions of the SWAC just in general and that parity, and then also where do you think your team squad? Because I think I only saw 3 or 4 seniors on this squad. So what do you think you need to finish at the top of the SWAC going into next year?
Well, first of all, the road trips in the SWAC, whew, they are rough. They were long. They were a bunch of back roads, a bunch of small cities that we had nowhere to eat. We were just lost. But other than that, I loved how competitive. I love how competitive it was. Every weekend we had to play our best ball. We couldn't take any weekend off, and that was great for us, and that set us up for success. We ended the season 500 in conference, and for our first time being in this conference and not knowing what to expect, I think that's a great start. And yes, we did lose 3 seniors, and we're bringing in 4 freshmen. We're trying to finalize a couple transfers, so we're bringing in athletes to replace the athletes we've lost and continue to make our team better. And I think this next year it'll just be trusting ourselves, trusting the process, getting comfortable with everyone. Like I said, more than half of our team was new. We had a lot of starters in our new people that were starters in our lineup, and just understanding, coming from junior colleges, just understanding how Division I is, coming from other teams, or just being able to learn your teammates that you have on the field with you right then. So I think a lot of that, once we get settled, we are settled. Since we're settled now, I think next year will be much better. But yeah, that SWAC, those road trips, yeah, we still got to get used to those.
Oh man, I feel like there's an off-camera story there, Coach. I can't wait to meet in person. There'll be some nice stories to tell, I'm sure. Go ahead, Kofi. What do you got?
Yes.
Well, I mean, even outside of that, At the home softball games, does anybody get grease on their car when they be tailgating and everything out there?
We try
If I
and
come out
control
there
that.
and I tailgate at the
We
softball game, when I get grease on my car.
we try to control that. You might get hit with a ball and from a home run, but hey, that's all we can do for
Okay.
you.
No, but seriously though, in terms of next level, just visionary, just for the program, obviously taking over for Coach Veronica and this being the first full year with that. What's next? Obviously, we got recruitment. What do we need to do to bring our program to a championship level in the SWAC?
I would say mostly just instilling that championship mentality in our athletes. This year, I think when we got there, we were just taking it all in, and we were trying to figure out what's going on. We played a lot of teams that we did not see. Both teams that we played in the SWAC tournament, we didn't see them at all that year. So now that we're prepared and we know what to expect with these teams and going to the SWAC championship, and know that we need to step it up a notch, and nobody's just going to lay down for us just because we're FAMU. That'll take us to the next level.
Right. So even when they say softball because I'm not a big baseball or softball guy in terms of strategy, because, explain how different teams basically approach the game or their styles of play as opposed to what we normally try to do and then what they try to do. Because it's
It's a
more than
mental
just
game.
this hitting and pitching, right?
Right. It's a mental game, and a lot of teams try and use that mental game against you. They try and get you out of your zone. They try to get you to, lose your composure a little bit. And so that's going to be us being able to be the more disciplined team mentally and still playing like we know how to play and shut people up with how we play versus our actions.
Cool.
Hey, Coach, for kind of to add on what Kofi's saying for people who aren't familiar with the softball culture, I thought your team was very connected. I mean, in the sense that between the clips that you get, they seem very connected in just, I mean, for example, the game against Florida State, which got broadcast. We had a lead in. I thought that was a winnable game. But they would go to clips of the team dancing, hanging. I mean, there was a lot of enthusiasm. And if you've never been to a softball game, I'm telling you folks listening, you're missing out. No one chants better than the Rattlers. I'm telling you now. No, I don't care who's out there. Maybe I didn't have to go to the SWAC tournament. No one chants better than the Lady Rattlers. So, Coach, tell people a little bit about that culture and just your team, because trust me, when the game I came to, the team from Mississippi that was in the other box, they weren't doing all that. They were real quiet. Now, we were beating them, but they were real quiet over there in the box. So just talk a little bit about that for people.
Right, yeah, that's our identity. Dancing, singing. I think we went viral. They have a stroll that they made up. So, how sororities and fraternities have their own strolls. FAMU softball has a stroll as well. So we went viral with that this year, and that's our identity. As long as we're having fun, dancing, singing, I know we're gonna play well. But the minute we tighten up, that's when we have to get back to our game. But yeah, that Mississippi Valley game, they I think they beat us the day before, and they got us a little bit out of our comfort zone, and we were quiet, and then we had to go back and regroup and be like, look, nobody's taking us out of our game, especially not on our home field. So we had to shut them up real quick with our bats, and they're a great team. But once we did what we were supposed to do and hit the ball how we were supposed to and pitch like we were supposed to, teams don't have anything to say.
Love it. I love it. I tell you this. I never heard. If you never heard the "Who Let the Dogs Out" in slow motion, it's sent a chill down my spine. That's all I'm gonna say. If I could have recorded it, you know what I'm talking about, Kelvin. If I could have recorded it, I'd have put that on my phone because that was epic. Somehow we're gonna have to have that young lady when we do the tailgate. I'm gonna have to have the softball team do that shit in the background. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just letting you know now. Coach, talk a little bit about, you had a couple of all SWAC performers in Destiny Cuevas in terms of hitting, and then Christiana Beasley pitching. Talk a little bit about those two young ladies and just their performance this year and what they meant to the team.
Yeah, they were tough for us all year. Destiny, she finished the conference season hitting above 300, so that's awesome. That's always a great batting average when you're above 300. She just stayed quiet all year. She trusted herself. This is her first year being a everyday starter, and I think she just blossomed. She blossomed, and she took what she could and took advantage of her opportunity, and she led her team offensively, and that's all we could ask for with her. She's a great leader, great kid, and you can't ask for anything more but to come back and do the same thing or better. That's all I'm asking from her. Then you got Christiana Beasley. She's a transfer, and she came in ready to go. She came in ready to learn, ready to compete, ready to see what she can do on this level, and she shut a lot of batters down. That was the talk of the SWAC. Number 3, like who's pitching today? I hope it's not number 3. So she did her job, and we have some work to put in the off season so we can get back to where we need to be next year.
Go ahead, Kofi.
How many pitchers do we need to realistically compete for an NCAA title, would you say? Top level pitchers, like number 3.
We have 3 coming back, and we have 2 coming in. So I'm gonna say 5. That's how many pitchers we need.
Shondo, let's go.
Nice. Kelvin, go ahead.
Let's go.
Coach, talk about the I know it's kind of early, you just finishing this your season here, but I know that what are you doing? What are you expecting your team to do first for the summer? And then I know you generally set up at least 4 to 6 games in the fall for the fall fall practice to getting ready to go into the spring. So kind of talk about that schedule, the summer schedule, and then what you'll be doing, what you want your team to do, and so forth going into the fall.
Yeah, for the summer, what we told them was rest. I know as soon as season's over, everybody's like, "Oh, I got to get back out there and fix what I didn't get done this season." But rest and recovery is the best thing they can do for their bodies right now. We played 50 games, 49 games. I'm sorry, we played 49 games. So 49 games within a 3-month span, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. So just making sure they are doing the right things, resting, recovery, so their muscles can be strong enough next year to get through another full season. But once it gets closer to the fall season, just getting back into it. Slowly but surely, we give them little weight training things to do over the summer. So making sure they're staying active, but also not overdoing it to where they're tired and can't get through a full season for us. And for me, it's just the mental reset. I'm already writing down stuff daily, just plans, stuff that pop up in my head, just trying to be better for my team. Always be better. I'm never gonna get complacent. There's always something to learn, no matter how good you are. But that's really all I got going on. But for the fall, we will play 8 games. We're allowed to play 8 games, so we'll try and get a full 8-game schedule in the fall, just so we can get a good feel of how the team is, who we're gonna play with, get that good team chemistry back up.
Hey, Coach, you don't have to give any trade secrets or anything, but have you had a chance to talk to Coach Wiggins now that the season is over? And what kind of advice? What did she say to you that you can share? Sniper, stop sniping.
She gets sniped, right? Right? Did we lose her right there? Hold on, let me give her a second to see if she is able to log back in. We might have lost Coach Orr right there when you asked that question there, Kelvin. See, we were digging a little too far there and got sniped. There we go.
I'm back.
We got to hear that answer right
I'm back.
there.
I heard where the question was going, but I didn't hear the whole question.
Okay, so I was just asking about now that the season is over, have you had a chance to talk with Coach Wiggins about anything, and what did she share with you that you can share with us?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not spoken to Coach Wiggins as of yet, and I know every day she's been itching to call me, but she's gonna make me call her first. because that's just how she is. So I know she's gonna have me call her first, and she's gonna say I was just giving you time. Um, but yes, I will get that phone call in at some point this week, and I'm sure she will let me have it like she always does.
Hey, coach, but who would you like to I mean, I don't know how scheduling is done for softball, but you had a very healthy schedule. I mean, of some of the top teams in the state. By my count, you played all the big dogs in the state. Is there anybody that you would like to schedule or like to have an opportunity to put your team and your program up against for next year? Wish list kind of
Uh,
thing.
Yeah, wish list. I definitely any top 25 team I would love to play. Just to get that competitiveness, just to get, not saying that we don't get it in our conference, we get it in our conference, but the teams that our ladies are watching on TV day in and day out, I would love to be able to compete with some of them and just give our girls that exposure as to this is what they have going on. They put on their cleats, they put on their jerseys, they put on their pants just like us. So let's get to it.
Nice, nice. Coach, got a lot of people in the chats asking how they can support the program. What's the best way for people to support the program? What are kind of on your needs wish list that we should be looking out for to try to help out the program?
Yeah, our coaching staff is in the process right now, actually, of getting together a wish list because we're going to reach out to more alumni and look for that support more this year. I think with this past year, we just had a lot going on, and we're prioritizing other things since things have slowed down. But reaching out to me would be the best option. My email is constance.orr@famu.edu. Or even I'm open to calls or text messages. My cell phone number is 704-458-6467. And it's also on the bottom of my email signature as well. My cell phone number is.
All right, all right. Go ahead. Okay, and I don't know. We'll make sure we get that out right. So Constance.org@FAMU, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Anything, coach, that we didn't get a chance to ask you about, or anything you want to, anything that we didn't get to ask you about that you want to say here as we get ready to close? I'll turn it over to you and let you talk to Rattler Nation.
Yeah, no, nothing that that I want you to ask, but I just want to thank everyone for the continued support. I know we had a lot of our social media exploded this past season, and I know that's because of you all. So I want to thank everyone for continuing to follow us and support us, and look for better things next year.
All
Hey,
right.
you
All
got
right.
any?
Well, thank
You got?
you.
Hey, hold on. You got anything to sell? Because that gear was fly, man. I got my money
We
ready, man.
we still got a
Matt,
whole bag full of merchandise, and we'll
Okay,
get
I
it.
got.
We're gonna
look,
get
we
more
got.
fly stuff next year.
Yeah, you
Okay,
got to let
so
us know. I mean, those jerseys are tight.
Yeah, thank you.
It was
so I can
definitely
come
the
out
best
off.
dressed family you've seen. Very nice.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right.
Again, folks, make sure you reach out to Coach, and we'll make sure we send her information out as well. Again, Coach Orr, thank you for coming on. Congratulations on the season. Bigger and better going forward from here. So we look forward to following the team, and then, like I said, we'll work that other stuff out when we come up and do the live tailgate. We have the squad do the chants, and we'll get going from there. So appreciate
All
your
right,
time, Coach. Be
no
well. Have a
problem.
good
Thank y'all.
summer. Okay.
Thank you,
All
y'all
right.
too.
Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
Coach Constance Orr, and want to let everybody know, in case you maybe picked up on it, and want to reach out. Coach is CONSTANCE.ORR at FAMU.edu. That's how you can reach out to coach and support. What kind of need, guys, as you look at the program and you look at facilities, and they got a nice facility, what kind of things would you put on the wish list for coach? What kind of things can we kind of anticipate that you'd like to see added to the program out there?
More support staff probably would be one thing, to make sure that they got the trainers and the grad assistants, folks who can do a lot more of the operational stuff. I know that there was cash only in terms of ticket sales this year. I know there's some investment being made in the infrastructure, but to have a PA system at the field, because we don't have one there or at softball or baseball. So to get a PA system would be probably high on the list, as well as technology, so that you can have the Wi-Fi and all that good stuff.
The portable speakers weren't working, Kelvin. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's high schoolish. We better than that.
The Square,
They deserve better than that.
We didn't have a Square app to do credit cards. I'm just saying.
Yeah, with just the technology, man. Bottom line is we just did not have the infrastructure and technology, so we need to work on that.
You know what's funny, Kelvin? You say that, and I love the way you say that, because this just goes to prove how disappointing it is that it's not in place, because there are high schools using it. There are high schools doing the very things that we should have in place. There are high schools in Tallahassee that are doing the things that we should be doing and have set up. So
yes, that along with the sunshade over the stands, so that when it's hot or it's raining, we can have some shade, over those aluminum bleachers. Just little basic things. Nothing that hasn't been thought of before, and nothing that has not been tried to get funded before. But that's where we need our athletic and executive leadership to help us to come into the century now, because it just doesn't make any sense not to have those things.
Do you ever follow? I know you follow Rick Rattler on Twitter, right?
Yes.
And when you see him post those photos from back in the day, and you see like facilities still looking like they did back in 1970 and 60 and 80, because my man has a treasure trove of images that he pulls up. And I'm scratching my head sometimes, and I'm like, wow.
Don't over-exaggerate. Don't over-exaggerate now. It don't look like those pictures, man. The campus is beautiful. It's transferred. It has transferred a lot.
I know.
Her area, she actually got the batting cages and stuff covered, and the turf field. Yeah. So it's actually nice. We just ain't finished it off. We got a Ferrari in the projects.
Running on with Hyundai rims. All right, let's take a break, come back, get into a few more topics, open up these phone lines, because I know you folks are out there itching. Those of you who watched Michael Smith's Q&A town hall with the 220 Quarterback Club, we'd love to hear your thoughts, what you thought about what you heard and saw. And a few more issues coming up. We got to talk about baseball on the other side as we come up to the final home series. So let's take a 2-minute break. Top of the hour, come back with more on the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Don't worry, Ma. We'll be there soon.
We? Is this the one?
Well, let's say I found the one who takes me to another level. Always stays calm under pressure. Most importantly, the one that helps me discover the coolest places.
This sounds wonderful.
Come outside, I'll introduce you.
They're here.
Definitely the one.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Frontier.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant. Authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The top HBCU programs in the nation come to Montgomery, Alabama's Riverwalk Stadium this May 11th through 14th for the Black College World Series. The best Black college baseball teams in the NCAA Division II and the NAIA will battle for Black baseball's ultimate prize. Games will be streamed live at www.mybcsn.net. Tickets are available now online at www.blackcollegechampionships.com.
Bounty versus...
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. Want to thank you all for watching us on Facebook and Twitter. If you're watching us live, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button there while you're in the chat room. I see many of our regulars there. Dr. Lori is in there. See Jay Stokes. Let's see, who else do we see? The regulars that are in here. Tamara T. Kenya Sykes in here. Who else do we see? Any of the
T.
regulars?
Mathers.
G-Dub. Huh?
T. Mathers.
Double OC in the house. Yes, sir. Montre Bennett. Mary 305. Bobby Calhoun. Thankfully, nobody has seen the Jackson State troll who, hit me up on, invaded my DMs with that, just be trolling me. We haven't seen him yet. So, we don't wish nothing ill, but, it'll be okay if he's not in the chat room. So it's all good. Karen Griffin, there she is, always in. So appreciate all of you. Yep. You can see our Twitter handles, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff scrolling across. If you're watching us live, we're on replay. Go ahead and make sure to follow us, our personal info, but make sure you're following at ONG Strike Zone on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Edwin Moore, shout out. See him in the house. Kenneth Rozier, I think that's family. Marching 100 Paparazzi, great follow on YouTube, definitely. Shout out to the 100. Always nothing but love. And everybody else out there, I'm sure there's somebody I might be forgetting. I'll make sure to give you a shout out as I see you a little bit later. All right, so let's get into this baseball as we start the top of the hour real quick. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I thought we had avoided you, Jeremiah, but somehow you snuck in there. But anyway, it's a disappointing weekend series against the team from Mississippi. We have lost, if I'm not mistaken, we've lost 5 of 6 this season to JSU. For some reason, we just can't seem to solve. We might be the only team giving them wins in the SWAC. If I go look at the standings real quick,
They're in fourth place.
My God, and that ticks me off. Yeah, the doggone the Buggers are 13 and 14, and 5 of those wins came against us. I mean, damn, that sucks. So anyway, FAMU lost, swept though, and this is we're going into first place. We're in first place, sitting in first place. Ended up having to play a doubleheader on Saturday. Close ball game. We gave up 3 in the first, battled back to tie it up in the top of the 5th, and then gave up a home run in the bottom of the 5th. They took a 4-3 lead and carried that all the way to a victory. Hunter Veets ended up with the loss. His record dropped to 7-4. Then on the second part of that doubleheader, well, let me see. I thought I had it pulled up. We ended up losing 9-2 on the second half of that doubleheader. DJ Wilkinson ended up with the L in that one. That was a game where we gave up 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th after grabbing, and we started off with a 2-0 lead. And then we just gave up 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, 5 in the bottom of the 4th, and pretty much that was all she wrote. The bats have kind of gone quiet on us, and then it got even worse on Sunday, falling 13-2. Another 2 big run innings, gave up 4 in the bottom of the 4th, 7 in the bottom of the 5th. So not a good day for our starters. And fellas, I'll tell you, much like what happened with our basketball team going into the SWACMIT, I'm already worried about seeding and running into. I don't know if we'll run into what. I can't be worried. Come on, Kofi. Come on. Look at what's happening.
That's your life story. Worried.
You always worry about everything, man. Either we gonna win or lose, man.
Just get on my
Worrying
nerves.
ain't gonna change
What
nothing,
you worried
man.
about now? Stop worrying.
We ain't worried.
Right now, FAMU sits 3 games out of first place. Alabama State 21-6 overall in conference. FAM is 18-9. We are 3 games out. Bethune-Cookman is actually 1 game behind us. So as it stands, we have to sweep Bethune, which we have already done, and Alabama State would need to lose all 3 just for us to have a tie in the SWAC East. So pretty much the next win by Alabama State, who they're playing Alabama A&M, who's in 5th place right now, 9-8 overall. That will put Alabama State in the first place spot. I think we need to win 2 of 3 against Bethune in order to secure the 2 spot in the East.
Yeah.
What does that mean? In the West, Prairie View and Southern are sitting at 18-9. Texas Southern and Grambling are both sitting 1 game out at 17-10. So this weekend, anything can happen over in the West. And I say that because the way it all works out, obviously you have E1, 2, 3, 4 play West. So we would play, if we stay as the 2 seed, we would play West 3 in the tournament. Am I right on that, guys? Kelvin?
2, 3. We would play 3 in the West, correct, as a 2 seed.
Right. So this weekend, Prairie View A&M is playing Texas Southern in a series hosted by Texas Southern. Alcorn's traveling to Southern University, so Southern should essentially win that series, probably. Grambling is traveling to UAPB. Yeah. What Kofi? What do you want to say?
It's all about the tournament. We just need to play well.
Seeding matters. Seeding matters, though.
It does not.
It
does not. Apparently, it does not.
Yes, it does. Yes,
and here's why I say that. Jackson State was undefeated last year. Undefeated. They had not lost a game. They got to the tournament. They didn't win it. Everybody's talking about, well, man, they need to
got to the championship game.
All that seeding stuff does not matter. You got to finish the deal. It doesn't matter who you play, no matter who you line up to play, you got to get out there and you got to kick tail.
All right.
I do think it matters though in terms of momentum. So we do need to win the series against Bethune. I do think that may have some carryover effect. And let me just point out that we have I believe 4 losses against Alabama State and 5 losses against Jackson State. We only have 10 SWAC losses, period. So 9 of them is between 2 teams. So we avenged the Alabama State of previous 4 losses with a sweep. We still haven't resolved the Jackson State issue yet. But on paper, it appears that we match up well with pretty much everybody we come against except Jackson State. So that would be the one team I would want us to avoid, and we should be able to avoid until later on in the series. But Kofi, what I was saying is I do think momentum does matter, which we had until this weekend. You know,
We'll get it back.
we've only lost 2 series in the last 6 weeks, and they have both to be Jackson State. Everybody else we've taken care of. So as long as we take care of Bethune this weekend at home, then I'm not too concerned.
You're gonna hate me for saying this, but I feel like I like to give people information.
You better not be bringing no bad news. Don't be bringing no bad news up in there.
Nobody in the East has played anyone from the West in the regular season. So we have
played
not
Grambling.
played.
What are you talking about?
And Southern.
Okay, that was at the beginning of the season.
You said nobody played them. Lying tail, sitting up there trying to spread bad news.
In the conference season, over the last 25 games, hate you at times, Kofi. Over the last 24 games.
Yeah, like we ain't on our job, man. Like we ain't knowledgeable.
Yeah, like we done beat Grambling and Southern.
We ain't gonna let you get away with that, Brian. We can't do that to our audience.
You're right. You're right. Okay. I'm gonna move forward. Great points, guys. Let's go. Game times. This is actually a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, folks. So tomorrow at Moore Kittles Field, 5 p.m., we play Bethune. 5 p.m. Friday is a 5 p.m. as well. Saturday's a 1 p.m. And then we head out to Birmingham, Alabama for the SWAC. What I want to know is Rattler Nation going to be in attendance? I really wish that this was a game that even if it's not being shown, I wish there was a way to hear the game being called, but that's another thing. But anyway, you can follow live stats. You're muted, thankfully. So live stats is the best way. So I hope he muted himself, Kelvin, or either no one can hear me. One of the two. I don't know.
No, he just lip he's lip singing what he want to say to you.
I gotcha. Okay. You guys are a trip, man. Let's transition to something here. Recruiting news. I'm trying to find. Did you got your recruiting news pulled up? I know Marcus had sent us some stuff. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up my recruiting doc information that Marcus sent out as we go around the horn. I know he sent some info on not only let's go through basketball, because I don't know if how much of this has kind of gotten out lately, or if hopefully folks have been paying attention. Women's basketball picked up an incoming transfer from Charleston Southern University, I believe a couple of weeks ago, a young lady by the name of Skylar Baltizager. Hope I'm saying that right. She's a 6'2" post from Orange Park, Florida. When she attended Charleston Southern, averaged actually 7.2 points, 5.8 rebounds as a true freshman for Charleston Southern. So she's kind of coming back into the state of Florida. So that's good for her. And then I believe we also picked up. I'm gonna mess this name up. I see it now. Jesus. I'm gonna do my best here. She's from Canada. Mide Oriyami. She is a Purdue transfer. Attended Purdue University. Voted in 2018-19 an Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association All-Star second team. She went to Northeastern University and then I guess transferred over to Purdue, but now she's found her way. She's a 6-foot guard forward. So that's a little bit size. One player that we did lose, apparently we did lose Anijah Harris. Looks like she is in the transfer portal. I don't know where she actually has ended up going. Kind of doing a quick route. Yeah, so Miss Harris is transferred out this past season. She was the second leading scorer on the team, 14.8 points a game. Third on the team in assists, 1.3. Fifth in rebounds, 3.6 a game. So lose Miss Harris, and then we pick up 2 new players. On the basketball side of things, I see 3 new incoming transfers for basketball program. We've got a Jordan Tillman, a 6'2", a 6'2" wing, 6'2" guard. Came out of Connor State College, which is in Oklahoma. Averaged 16.6 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 5.3 assists. Shot 37% from the 3-point field. Also, a 6'6" guard forward, Jalen Bates from Gaston College. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. He averaged 13.5 while at Gaston College, 6.4 rebounds. And then a 6'4" guard from Tallahassee Community College, Byron Smith. Not only is he from Tallahassee Community College, but he also went to high school at PK Young in Gainesville. One of our assistant coaches actually was a standout for PK Young, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a tie-in right there, but also Tallahassee Community College, and we know they always have some good players over there. Averaged 10 points a game, 3.8 rebounds in his single season at TCC. Departures, who we lost. Obviously, we knew we lost Keith Littles, Johnny Brown. We think we talked about him last week. Jameer Williams and Javon Smith, all portal departures. And speaking of basketball, did you see MJ at the doing his
Cinco
thing at the
buckets.
Chicago? Yeah, Cinco Buckets doing his thing at the Chicago draft. I think it was like the G League draft, prospect camp. And so he was actually doing pretty good up there. And so shout out to him. Hopefully there's an opportunity to play professional, if not here in the States, overseas. And I think that's where his eyes are looking. I'd be shocked if he comes back to FAM. I think the overtures of professional life are calling him. Any thoughts on that?
As usual, I think you overstating it a bit. He has a good opportunity. He actually, seems to be doing okay. Uh, but he's left the door open. He doesn't have an agent, so he's left the door open to be able to return. I don't know, what his prospects overseas right now, so we'll just have to see on that. I do want to say though, both with the women recruit and the men recruit, I'm a little more optimistic than usual with who we have coming in because these players coming in played significant minutes and they were productive. They were double digit rebounds or decent scorers. On the men's side, the guys were scorers. Where they coming from? On the women's side, the young lady is actually played as a freshman and averaged, I think, about 7.5 points and 11 rebounds. And she's a big. We need size, and so we got size. So I'm a little optimistic, and in terms of that, I do think we lost about two guys in particular. I thought could have been good contributors for us on the men's side next year. And Johnny Brown, I like his game. He's a shooter, a streaky shooter, and long, and he was young. So I thought he was somebody who could develop. Uh, Jamil Williams was probably our most athletic prospect, but he was just never healthy here, ever. I think this was year 2, 3, I want to say, for him, and he just never was available when it was basketball season. So, but had he stayed healthy, he was an extremely athletic kid who played above the rim. So that's my comment on those two.
You guys seen anything? This is where I wish Marcus always keeps us updated, and there's so much going on in football. Anything in terms of football recruiting news? I mean, Coach Riz is always. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Anything in particular that you guys are seeing on the football recruiting side of things that kind of caught your eye that was like, yo, we need to that's big,
Well, Jaylen Brown.
Go ahead, Cole.
Go ahead.
The only thing that I had that I was going to add about the football recruiting was that I noticed that we seem to be targeting for this fall, targeting JUCO and transfer O linemen, which I do think is probably our weakest area right now, coming out of spring ball. So, Rez and the coaches doing a great job. I know you got jamborees all this week across the state. They've been everywhere. They have a football camp coming up early June. They have another camp with the other HBCUs in Florida at the end of the month. So they're active. They're doing their thing. Covering the state and so forth. And we've offered a lot of 4, 5, 3-star kids. We're shooting our shot, so to speak. So I appreciate that, and I do think that we'll pay off with some dividends later on down the road. But I'm interested to see the the 4 to 6 kids we're going to sign in between now and the fall, because I believe we're going to be relying on those kids to actually come in and play. And I think most of them are going to be old linemen.
Kofi, what did you want to add? You mentioned Jaylen Brown. I'm just seeing something in the chat room about him.
Yeah, he's from Lake City, Columbia, which is an outstanding traditional program in the state of Florida, and he's a 200-pound back. So that solidifies the backfield a little bit more with the team. I want to say, just really for me, because you don't want to see people get on the hot seat, but obviously women's basketball is something that we have to get right, just really going forward. And I think she's a brilliant personality. I think she's, got the pedigree, but, recruiting is a big deal. And so right now with the portal the way that it is, with Jackson State basically leading the way that they are with their team and the people that they have, you cannot drop the ball. Now, again, the hope is really with Florida is we really do have access to a number of quality programs in the state that are not far away from FAMU. In fact, right down the street with FAMU High, FAMU DRS.
Shut up, Scotty.
Say what?
I told
keep
Scotty
going.
to shut up.
Look, it's the truth. You know, you might need some ugly people to get out there and, you know, do some, get some girls
Stop
with
it.
no teeth and
Stop it. Stop
no
it.
hair, and, get out there, and do something about you. Anyway, Jackson State, I was gonna say something really bad, but I'm not gonna say it. See, I'm on that fast.
No.
See, the Lord just gripped me. So I'm gonna stay
Good.
focused on what I was saying. Anyway,
Yes.
there are programs right down the street with FAMU, DRS, Florida High, Rickards High. Even if you look at the Jacksonville schools with the Potter's House, Reball. These schools just won a national with a national championship in high school basketball just a couple of years ago. And I haven't seen us sign one player from Reebok in a long time. That Orange Park girl, no disrespect. No disrespect to the Orange Park young lady that's coming to be a part of the squad. But if you want to get some ballers from Duval, you have to go to the hood. You have to go over there to Reebok and Reigns. You got to get over there around that area over there. Them girls over there can play. Potter's House, they can
Well,
play.
hold on, Kofi. Where? Okay, if they're not coming to FAMU, where are they going?
Everywhere
Are they
but
going
FAMU because
anywhere?
we don't have. Yeah, they're going to D1 programs like University of Florida, Florida State,
Okay.
South Carolina. We not even trying. I don't want to say we ain't trying. But FAMU has way too many deep connections in Jacksonville for us not to be able to get one player. We are right down the street from FAMU DRS and we can't get one. Like, give me a freaking break. Like, stop.
All right. So maybe we need to get can Coach Pillow, can she go to the 220 club? Is she allowed, or is
Coach
that just
Pillow
football?
better listen. Let me tell you like this. Coach Pillow has to produce. And I think she's a great coach in the making, but she's not great right now. And
What's
the
the bar of
reality is
expectation? What is
she
the
better win.
expectation level?
She
What
has
is
to
that?
win.
500? Is 500 winning?
Nope.
We only won what? 4
That's not
games. We
winning.
won 3
500
games.
is not winning. 500 is average. 500 is average. You don't come to FAMU
So a game
and coach
above.
women's
A game
basketball to
above
be
500?
average. No.
A game above
She has to
500?
be at least 3 games above 500. And let me finish my statement since I was so rudely interrupted and
I'm sorry.
everything.
I'm sorry.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So we're on the verge of getting a new AD. Okay. A new AD is going to come in and they're going to be looking at what's working and what's not. Obviously, there's certain programs that are running on high, but she's not. And I'm not convinced that, just based off what I'm seeing from recruiting, based on what I've seen from marketing, that she's pushing that button to really push forward. Not when we had somebody right down the street at FAMU DRS that could really coach. Not when we had a TCC coach that won a national title. Are you kidding me? We just glossed over that dude, and we just, come on, man. Like
He was
common
definitely,
sense stuff.
and he was definitely interested. So there's a lot of good basketball played in North Florida and the Panhandle. A lot
And
from the
Quincy.
from the community college level, from the high school level. So we have to put a better product out. I do agree with that, and this is the year to see that growth, that improvement.
All right. I think sometimes sometimes I think you guys have your FAMU DRS state of Florida sunshades on at times.
Hey man, check
When
the
it comes
trophies.
to women's basketball.
Check the trophies. Check where their players
Please
go.
look
Their
at the
best players
trophies.
go. I mean,
Please
winning
look
is
at the
winning,
trophies.
buddy.
Okay.
You tried us.
Right.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Okay. Look,
like you sitting up there running your mouth and word about seedings and stuff.
If
Don't
it
even have your stuff together.
If it were so great, they'd already be there. That's what I'm just saying. So let me stop.
No, that's not. You have to go down there. You have to go down there. You have to recruit.
Okay.
It's making me curious as to why, like, what is the big deal? Are we taking them for granted? Because for a long time, even from the football standpoint, we weren't getting certain players because we weren't even going after certain players. Weren't even going after and recruit them. Then Coach Simmons comes in and he's going after top level athletes from around the country. You know, especially in this area. He's establishing relationships, and now we're seeing dividends or results with that because he has a program and he's got people on it. This was even before Coach Devin even got there. So I love Coach Pill. I think she's very attractive and everything. I think she dresses nice. I think she's the best looking coach in the SWAC. However, girl, you better win. I'm trying to tell you, girl, you better get on up here and get us some dunkers or somebody. Get us some ball head women with some gold teeth or something that can take that ball to the hoop.
Street, right? I got you.
No. We just want to see a good product. Stop being dismissive now, Brian.
No, I'm not.
If you looked at our record the last 7 years, 8 years, long before Coach Pillow, and you ain't sat through them games. You from afar. As a season ticket holder, I've sat through them games, man. It's painful. It's ugly. I'm tired of that. I need better. I expect
and we
better.
don't
Period.
look. We don't have to go to Kentucky and South Carolina and get these players. You got 5. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people. You can find 5 people in this Big Bend area from here to Jacksonville that can ball out, and I'm talking about straight ball. 5.
All right. One of the things that I would like to transition to as we talk about recruits and our student athletes is something that I saw that started making its rounds over the past 24 or 48 hours. It came from actually one of our own Rattlers, none other than Public Enemy #1 on Twitter. Somehow the debate about the playoffs versus the Celebration Bowl started running amok out in these HBCU sports media streets. Yeah. And none other than Public Enemy #1, aka at throw it up to 88, chimes in to the discussion as a player, and one of his tweets that I bookmarked that he said playoffs over Celebration Bowl, and I know I'm not the only guy who thinks like this. Why settle for the HBCU championship that is voted on after a bowl game where the 2 best HBCUs rarely play each other when we could just win the whole FCS and be the best in D1 FCS? Shout out to Off Script because I did hear the young man call Scotty's show this morning. And, in talking about players wanting to be in the FCS playoffs, and it brings up that whole debate again about FCS playoffs versus the Celebration Bowl, and does not being in the playoffs somehow make us less than wanting to be great and not respecting or not understanding what the players want? And so I guess now that there's this big buzz afoot for, we're getting all these transfers and 4 stars, and a 5-star has gone to an HBCU. What's your take, gentlemen? I mean, is throw it up to 88? Is he right? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, first off, from the time you play Pee Wee football all the way up to college, you're basically in playoffs. Pee Wee has playoffs. Pee Wee has playoffs. Okay?
Yeah.
Junior high school football has playoffs. High school football
Everybody doesn't
playoffs.
get to go, though. Everybody doesn't always get to go.
If you don't go, that's your fault. Your team sucks. You didn't get to go to the
Okay.
playoffs. You
Okay.
didn't get better.
All right.
We
All
don't
right.
believe in
going.
participation trophies.
Yeah. So sorry. Now, let me say this. I think that the Celebration Bowl obviously has benefits financially. The NCAA and the people that govern FCS, who is this Aggie? A&T Roy? We're not
Keep
butthurt.
going.
We beat y'all the last couple of times, so you're not even in the conversation. I don't even know why you are even in here with y'all raggedy self sitting up here talking about some mess about Rattlers. FAMU is a better school than North Carolina Aggie, whatever y'all is. What is a darn
We know
Aggie
that.
anyway?
Keep going. Keep
All
going.
right.
Ignore the Aggie.
Anyway,
No one cares about
just
Aggie
sitting up
Pride
there
anymore anyway.
running
Keep
his
going.
mouth. They lost the last 2 times. I don't understand why, if they can't do math. And
They
they
lost
lost
to
to
Morgan.
State.
They lost to Morgan
They
State
lost to
twice, man.
Morgan State and FAMU the
Why,
last couple
why
of
are we
times.
even talking about them, man?
Right.
Yeah,
Stay
get on
frustrated.
it. Can we block him, like remove him? Anyway, you don't have nothing else better to do. I just had to do that little station break for a second. This sorry tales sitting up there losing to Morgan State. And then first year they blamed it on the Storm. Then FAMU came in and beat their tail. Then they lost again in Morgan. Lost again. Sitting up there running their mouth and got beat.
Show me my money. Come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Show me my money. Pay me my money. We're going to pay you this air whooping. That's what we finna do. Again. All right. Now. All right. So let me just say this. All right. So when we had I was on Off Script Show and Bishop Bonnet called in. And Bishop was like, bro, playoffs and celebration, playoffs. Even though we got beat, even though we got mollywopped by Southeastern Louisiana, the score is not totally indicative of everything that happened in that game. If we stop giving away just dumb points off of special teams and we go in there, we actually run the ball, we gave away 21 points off of special teams errors and fake punts and just stupid stuff. That wasn't the real FAMU squad, but you need that level of experience if you're going to play at a higher level. Blowouts happen all the time. The next round, Southeastern Louisiana got blown out by James Madison. What FAMU and other HBCUs need to do if they are serious about going to the next level in FCS playoffs is invest more money into your program or sit down. You're not going to win a national title with anything less than less than a $15 or $16 million investment in your athletic program. If you're not going to step up and pay that amount, you might as well just continue to go to the Celebration Bowl and pray that nothing happens to Dion, who is the voice of HBCU football right now. It's very important, that you don't take these recruits for granted. And then in addition to that, you've gotta establish, the alums have to establish a NEAL program or a NEAL collective program for their schools and for that student athletes that are representing their respective schools. Can we do $50 million for a player? I think that's absurd considering that they're just still amateurs. But you have to be able to get in the ball game on some level to be able to assist our athletes where we can. And it's, for FAMU not to have a collective, given all of the gifted people that we have in their respective genres, is absolutely absurd. I think we're behind the 8 ball, but hey, it only takes a second to really get this stuff done and really going. So let me just repeat that again. If we are not going to invest at least $15, $16 million, and this goes towards HBCUs around the world, or in the United States where we only play football. If you're not going to invest $15 or $16 million, you might as well just continue to play Celebration Bowl. And I don't even know how we're going to continue to do that if the MEAC doesn't solidify itself. And it seems like they got their little 8 people. It seems like they got their 8 people. But at any day now, any day, any moment, somebody can come along with an offer for one of these schools, and then the rest is history. I'm not convinced that they're out of the water yet. But we've got to get a $15 million. This is for the BOT. For those of you that are going to the National Alumni Association Convention, the BOT is meeting. Either we are going to invest and be all in, increase student fees, or find some other ways to get to a $15 million level, or we need to just shut up. And this really goes for everybody. We need all of that if we're going to be competitive.
Hey, Kelvin, before you jump in, and it's a nice transition that Kofi set up to that top 25 FCS budgets and bottom 25 that we were talking about. Let's take a short 2-minute break, pay some bills, and come back and jump back into that discussion. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll stay here. Maybe our producer fell asleep. All right, so that short little pause was for the podcast. So when the podcast goes to commercial, the podcast go to commercial. We'll stay live on air. That's what we do. All right, so the transition that Kofi brought up, Kelvin, we talked about top 25 budgets. So I agree 100% with you, Kofi. Money has to be invested into our athletic budgets if we are to compete with the top FCS programs. I know that's what a lot of y'all want, but right now it's not happening for various factors. But let's just take a look at some of the names on the top 25 list. And I'm just going to shout out, I came across this via Ken Clark on Twitter, a JSU guy. So, I just want to give him his shot. But he put this out, top 25 FCS. And I'm just going to run down the names of schools and see if these – and look, ask who you want. We'll go. The top number one is Delaware, $48 million. UC Davis, $39 million. This is athletic budgets, right? Athletic budgets, okay? Public universities, largest athletic budget / revenue, and all the way down to the smallest. So again, Delaware, UC Davis, Stony Brook, Sacramento State, $34 million, Cal Poly, $34 million. Coming back to the East Coast, William and Mary, $30, New Hampshire, $30, Rhode Island, $29, North Dakota, not North Dakota State, North Dakota at $29, and Illinois State, $28. That's the top 10. Missouri State, $28. Then here's your North Dakota State at $28 million. Then you have Albany, Kennesaw, Towson, Northern Arizona. I'm still in the $24 million ballpark. Montana State, Maine, South Dakota State, very popular name, $22 million. East Tennessee State, South Dakota, Stephen F. Austin, 19. Lamar,
we get the
19.
picture. We get the picture. Talk about the bottom 10 now.
Bottom 10, man. Valley, $4 million. Alcorn, $6 million. Jackson State, $8 million. South Carolina State, $8 million. UAPB, $9 million. North Carolina Central, $9 million. Western Illinois, the only non-HBCU in the top 10 or bottom 10 at $9 million. Grambling at $10 million, that's $8 million. Good old FAMU, $9 million with $10 million. And then Nichols with $10 million. So Nichols ties in. Morgan State also with 10, Moorhead with 10. That's your bottom 12. So look at the schools that are sitting there in the bottom. And then if you go up a little bit, you've got Tennessee State is 14th lowest. Alabama State is 16th lowest. Texas Southern, 19th lowest. I mean, what do you want? All right. Make it make sense, Kelvin.
Well, I think y'all guys have said what I've been saying, and I agree with you. You talked about, we had a discussion off air about our out of conference record, HBCU's out of conference record against PWC, FCS schools, and all you gotta do is just look at that budget. You talking 20, 30, 40 million dollar budgets, and then a eight to $10 million budget. We ain't serious. We ain't in the game. I mean, yeah, from once in every 10, 15 years, we might can rise up and win. But to have a sustained program that can win year in, year out, we got to up our revenue. And it's not just the money part of it, right? We got to do that part. But also, we have to have non-athletic people not have influence over athletics. We have to have qualified athletic directors with experience, and we have to let them do their damn job. All right, simple as that. If we want to just be black college champs, then keep doing what we doing and isolating ourselves. But if you want to take this momentum and this opportunity, frankly, with what the NCAA is doing by deregulation in terms of roster management moves and the NIL legislature, it's a lot of things shifting again in athletics. Um, and there's an opportunity for us to be more. We have uh, top athletes again considering HBCUs and coming to HBCUs, choosing HBCUs, even with what our budgets and facilities are right now. So we have an opportunity to again rise to that elite level. The question is, do we have the vision and leadership, and do we have the commitment to do it? That's what I want to see. I want us to be the best, just like we compete for the best students, and we produce the greatest share of PhDs and so forth out of HBCUs and professional black professionals. HBCUs do a great job of that. And I want to see us to do it, but I want us to do that in everything we do. If we're gonna spend millions of dollars and $10 million, be the best at it. So we talked about the strategic plan that didn't mention athletics at all specifically. That was posted on the website. We got to do better. We got to demand better.
They didn't really address recruitment either.
It was all academics.
From a tactic, from an aggressive standpoint. But if you're talking about increasing or generating more revenue for your school, you need more students. So, this whole misnomer about capping out at 8,000 or 9,000 students is crazy. And it's asinine. And again, this is partially what made people mad at Elmira Mangum. I'm just shocked that not enough people are in an uproar about this with Dr. Larry Robinson. So, we've got to do more. This is an election year. This is why we've got to do our due diligence to do whatever we have to do to turn the state of Florida blue so that we can get our decision makers that help to govern and provide funds for our university to bring the necessary shift for us to go to the next level. It's not going to happen by us just sitting online and just talking about it. We literally have to be about it right now. And I'm talking about it right now.
The gap between the 25th school that was part of the most and the 25th school that was part of the least is only $5 million. We're talking 19 million brings you into the 25th spot of the top 25. 14 million puts you at number 25 of the bottom 25. So there you are talking about what, a $5 million gap. I saw somebody ask which are the top HBCUs. I don't, if I'm just looking at this, I don't know. Obviously, Delaware State comes in at 14 million, Texas Southern 13, Alabama State 12 million.
Delaware State has a $14 million.
according to these numbers, yes, from 20, and these are,
They
from
don't even
2021.
generate revenue for their games. Their stadium seats like 6,000 people.
So they subsidize. They're highly subsidized up there because they're isolated from a lot of
Yeah,
their counterparts. So they don't generate that revenue. That's what they expenses are. That's how much they budget for their athletic um competition. And they got odd sports like I want to say they got like equestrian or something like that because they're up north. They have some unique sports too, but they are highly
Right.
subsidized. Yeah.
Let me say this too. All right. I know beyond a shadow of doubt, okay, even for FAMU right now, without having a men's tennis team, which I think is crazy because they help the APR. But not only that, they bring championships. You have to invest in that, but you need another revenue generating sport. Soccer at FAMU would be huge. Even men's volleyball on some level would be quite interesting.
Title nine,
And
Title nine. The issue is because of the makeup of our university and how many more females we have to meet Title IX compliance. So therefore, we cannot eliminate any women's sport. And if you add a men's sport, you have to add a women's sport. So there is a
we can do men's and women's
regulation.
soccer.
There's a cost to that. We're already talking about cost issues right now with what we have, Kofi. I don't disagree. It would be nice. It's a good idea, but we got to fix where we are right now and budget for what we are now before we start adding stuff. Let's master where we are now. That would be my advice.
Coming up June 1st and 2nd, beginning of the next month, they got the Board of Trustees meeting, National Alumni Association meeting. We've given you the charge. Those of you who have joined Kofi in the fast, we know what's at stake. We still haven't has anybody heard any latest info regarding the the 18 member, the FAMU 18 and the
Now
executive committee?
you trying to get us to say bad stuff, and I've
No,
been
I'm not.
calm
No.
all night.
No.
Yeah, so you trying to get me going. You know them.
There's a reason why I left it for the last 10 minutes of the show, because I knew there wasn't anything out there. I just thought I'd ask the question. Maybe somebody had heard something.
So I was heard
Right, so
something was supposed to they were supposed to meet sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, but I haven't heard any follow up about that. So that's a problem. That's a problem. We need more transparency. We need communication. We need to know that this committee is being led correctly and they know what they're doing. So I will be inquiring, and I would definitely have some kind of information next Wednesday. We're gonna start the show with it.
Listen,
I
they
am
need to be
putting
able to
feelers
give
out
us
there
a
trying to
full
see.
timetable, bro.
I'm hoping that my request to Dr. Friday Stroud, hopefully she will make the venture to come on to the show and give us an update. I would love for her, and obviously, I don't know, have any of you guys done the FAMU oral history project that is out there being run by I believe the foundation and the I know Dr. Friday Stroud's name is on that. But I mean, there's a lot of things that I think it'd be a good conversation if she came on. So anybody who knows her, feel free to drop a hint and say, hey, don't ignore the email opportunity to come on the show and tell us a little bit about what the plans are, what the schedule is like. But there has to be some sort of voice with this alumni convention. Now, why are you shaking your head, Kobe? Don't shake your head.
You are just keep
Tip
riding.
your
Don't
head.
look at me. Keep going, because you don't want me to jump in right now. Keep going.
Give me a two shot there where I only see Kelvin, because every time I look at you, I see that look of dismissal. But no, look, folks. How many weeks away are we, Kelvin, from the Alumni Association coming to Tallahassee? 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the
2
first week
weeks.
in June.
2 weeks.
Board of Trustees meeting and National Alumni Convention.
What are you going to do, Rattler Nation? Are you going to tighten up again? Are you going to tighten up? Are you going to pucker up your cheeks again when they tell you how great and all the good things Dr. Robinson has done, which he has done some great things, but we understand where we're at. If folk, no, you don't get to say anything. You don't get to say anything. You can wave. Are you going to stand there? You're going to pucker up and get tight? Or are you going to actually go and issue the vote of no confidence? Are you going to actually go out and say, we don't like where we are. We don't like where things are going. Who is going to change them? Why haven't they been changed? Or are we just going to come together, unify, fundraise? Are we going to dance and get suited up and look all pretty and nice in some nice suits and beautiful dresses and drink cognac and talk about the bright future of FAMU? Or are things going to actually change?
Well, it'll change when we change it, but there has to be a focus. And just to be honest, unfortunately, we're just at a confrontational state right now where certain questions and certain things have to be confronted if they are going to change. It's not going to change without the confrontation because, these things are necessary.
Here's what's
What I
interesting,
don't
guys.
want it to be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kofi.
Let me say this and I'll be done. What I don't want it to be is just a mess of just emotional pleas. And we don't need that. We don't need emotion. We need strategy. We need strategy. We need focus. We need strategy. And at the end of the day, we also need unity. But right now, there's some things that have to be confronted because there are some very serious questions about the whole institutional control thing that has to be addressed in order for us to go to the next level. And as well as our mindsets as it pertains to people who, I want to say these various family groups that look to control the university. Influence is a part of the process. I get it. Influence is great. But the difference is we need the people that are in authority to utilize that authority for the benefit of FAMU.
I've been asked by several people to dig more into the story about Representative Alexander and why. What was his influence on FAMU and FAMU athletics? I've had multiple people ask, and you know what? Maybe we should. Maybe I should. I mean, again, to what benefit? To what benefit? Well, if it exposes a system that is not operating in the best benefit of the university, then maybe that's what needs to be put out there. Because I'll tell you what, at some point I thought about schools who sort of take care of their own guys, and I thought, and this hit me when I was watching Michael Smith up there, man of the people. And I got to thinking, and go back and look at the history. We put it up there. How many previous ADs and presidents? How many of those people were us? Were Rattlers? True blood, orange and green, cut from the cloth. Spent time on the set, in the Orange Room, in Coleman, walking up and down hills to get an education. How many of those people were there? And I got to thinking, I'm not sitting here advocating for Michael Smith, man of the people, but I'm just saying, at some point we have to get one of our own in that position. I thought we should have had one of our own prior to Gaucher, but that's who they went with. Not a bad deal. We get a second chance at it. Will we make a better decision? How about our president? Will the next president be someone who understands Florida A&M University? Will it? I don't know. Kelvin, other universities do that. They get their own and they pull their own in to keep their own moving forward.
Hey, let me say two things, Brian.
Go ahead.
It's been a mixed bag with that when we have done it. Most of the time, it's interim positions. There's plus and minus. What I really care about is competency, people who are experienced, and people who are seasoned enough to deal with difficult situations. Right? FAMU is a place where you have to make hard decisions. Well, you have to make difficult decisions, but you have to do it in a way that's professional, and you have to entertain some things and not be mad at the people when they come at you, because that's just the way it is. That's our environment. You still have to treat them like family at the end of the day. So it's not an easy place to administer. Number one, but you have to be able to stand your ground, and you have to not get caught up in the cliques in the circles, right? You kind of have to be consistent. And I've seen where they maneuver to put inside people in. I mean, maybe the previous AD wasn't a rattler, but he was orchestrated in by rattlers, right? So to me, it's more important that we have professionals who doing when instead of having a search committee, I would much rather have a professional search firm that does nothing but solicit candidates for the AD position. Same thing when our president position come open. Get a professional firm, let them develop the criteria you want and all that good stuff, and then go through a process where whoever makes it through that process is qualified and capable of taking us to the next level, whether they rattlers or not, because when they get here they paycheck say they rattlers, period.
Well said. As we get ready to close out the show, want to remind everybody you can donate to the O&G Strike Zone right there in the chat, all the way at the top. I know it's a lot of conversations in the chat room, so it's be a hard scroll. But pinned right there at the top, there's our link to donate to the show. If you see there's a QR code. I don't know if that how that works. If you're watching on your laptop, maybe you can scan it. You can also go to our Twitter feed at O&G Strike Zone. Pinned to the top of our page is a link to donate to the show. Again, thank you to those of you who have already made your donations and said, I'll be making a donation, and it means a lot that you care enough to give us a cup of coffee. I wanted to try to do, and some of the things we're hoping to work on is maybe some giveaways and some things like that. I wanted to try to find ways to encourage people to go out to the baseball game this weekend. You got 3 games, any 3 games. I mean, if you can go to every game, great, but go to one. Go to the first one Thursday night. Go Friday night. Take the family. Take the kids. Encourage some neighborhood kids to go. Be a part of this big weekend series so that we can get some momentum back heading into the SWAC tournament. That's what we need. Want to remind you, if you're not following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, go make sure you do that at O&G Strike Zone. You can always send us an email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Networks app on your Google or Apple Play Store. Search My JBM, My BCSN, and all of our shows get put on the BCSN Pod Zone. Available podcast everywhere: iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere. So you can go download the podcast BCSN Pod Zone. That's where it'll be. I'll probably have it up sometime tomorrow. If I get it done tonight, it'll be ready in the morning for you. So those of you who like to listen to shows in the early part of your morning. Kofi, final words here as we close the show.
Let's stay vigilant, Rattlers. For those of you that are on the fast, thank you for joining us. Please encourage others to join us as well. Please keep in mind, even if you do not do the whole day, do something. Dedicate 1 hour, dedicate 3 hours to just focusing on this. I'll be listing the prayer points on Twitter and Facebook. And if you have anything that you all wish to add to it, we greatly appreciate it. These are very critical times at Florida A&M University. And our key scripture is from 2 Chronicles 7:14. And it simply says, if my people, if FAMU, which is called by my name, would humble themselves. Let's get rid of all this pride and all this arrogance and all of this title stuff. Humble yourself and pray. Seek God, who has the answers. Humble yourself and pray. Seek his face and turn from their wicked ways. There's some things that have happened on the highest of seven hills who are just straight up wicked. Turn from our wicked ways, then we will be able to hear from heaven. We need God to speak to us. We need God answers. We need God solutions. We need God interference. Then will I hear from heaven. Then will he forgive our sin and heal our land. And we need Rattler Nation to be healed in a major way. So this is our focus. This is our agenda, to see God's best be poured out on the highest of seven hills like never before. And as we come together, I'm sure we're going to see that. God bless you.
Well said, Kofi. What do you have, Kelvin?
I don't think I need to follow that with anything else. Amen to my brother Kelvin. Let's get in good trouble, Rally Nation. We have to speak truth to power. We have to be a part of that vision, and it's gonna come from us. It's not gonna come from our elected leaders and people with titles. Again, I keep harping on that. It's gonna come from us, and y'all stay with us, man. Y'all keep supporting us. We thank you for the support. But we need your activity, your voice, so we can have a collective voice.
Well said. 2 weeks away, Alumni Association coming to Tallahassee. We got to make some changes. We got to make some things happen. 2 weeks away, folks. Literally this day. Hey, also, happy 3-year anniversary to our baseball team. This day, 3 years ago, they won the MEAC championship in 2019. So congratulations, happy anniversary. And let's go win 3 games against Bethune. And then let's finish up, go to Birmingham, and let's bring out a title in our first year in the SWAC. So let's make it so. And that'll be it. So for everyone watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we appreciate you guys watching. Shout out to our producer, Mel, for all she did, hanging in there for a little overtime. It's all good. For my brothers, Kelvin, Kofi, stay on the fast. And stay prayerful, FAMU. Be safe, be smart. Let's make sure we strike hard, strike, and strike again, FAMU. Peace out. I think we lost our producer. Did our producer fall asleep?
All right, well, I'm going to log off.
You always do.
You always do. Man, what happened to our producer? I guess I gotta have to call. She might have fell asleep there, Kevin. We in overtime now. We just gonna take questions until she goes out. Man, did she fall asleep? I hope she okay.
Yeah, I hope so
text
too.
the producer. Yeah, what's happening in the chat rooms? We're in overtime now. I don't know what we call this segment. The post show, the after party, something. I'm like, our producer, we live on the air, and she at any moment it could close out.
Hey,
so
hey, I hope she didn't take up that discussion we was having off air about that brown bottle.
Oh my goodness, Jesus! Let me see. I may have to go into some back channels and cut the live feed here. I don't know where she is. You guys hanging in there? Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Those of you who are still in the chat room chatting, thumbs up. Hit it again. Hit that thumbs up. Let us know you appreciate the show. Facebook, appreciate the show. I'm gonna call Mel. I'm worried about my girl now.
Mm-hmm.